Okay, RJ Dean here again. I was talking to a few of my friends that are just learning how to grow, and they said, hey, why don't you take it right from the very beginning instead of doing cloning and super cropping and all this, right from the very beginning, starting out seeds. What I do, I take a little bit of piece of a paper towel. You don't need a whole lot. I always use spring water. I just get it nice and wet. I look for a seed. And because Subcool passed away a few weeks ago, I'm going to go with one of his combinations that I have in here. It's actually a Chem Valley Kush by the Cali Connection. That was the female, and the male was a Tahoe OG crossed with Chernobyl by Subcool. And the Chernobyl was fantastic. I grew that here in the Chicago area. In fact, I had one that was actually low odor. It had almost no odor. And people could grow it indoors in apartments and you could not smell it. It's still going around Chicago. So if you hear about it, that's mine. It's been around for about 7-8 years. Okay, what I did is I took the seed out there and I unfold the napkin, and all I do is I just place the seed in there. It's just that easy, and cover it. I don't have to cover it many times. I just cover it once. I get it into the plastic bag, put it in the bottom. I seal it, and I mark it. Because if I don't mark it, old guys like me, we forget. So this is Chem Valley Kush times OG times Chernobyl. What I do is I put it into my little box here, and then I put it over my sun blaze in the nursery, and there's just enough heat underneath with the top on where it doesn't heat up too much, and it roots. And I know I have one in there rooting now. I can tell because I looked. So I'm going to show you what I do with the seed after it roots. First of all, I'm going to mark it. It's a Colombian Gold. Colombian Gold. And I've had this line for about 30 years. And I've never got a gold plant out of it yet, where it's actually gold after it's cut and trimmed and cured. I've come close. I got a light brown, but I've never had gold. And I got these seeds. This was some of the strongest stuff I've ever smoked in my life. And it was gold. It would look like wheat. It was so gold. But I bred it, and these seeds are about 20 years old. But I've never gotten gold. And here's what we're going to do. It's right here. It's my gold. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to show you how soon after it roots, the taproot comes through, that I transplant it. See, you got to be very careful because you don't want to break the root. You break the taproot, you're done. And if it gets caught up a little bit in the napkin, you really have to be careful. And if it is growing into the napkin, you got to cut around it. You can't go after it. But that's what you got. You got something small like that. Now, because I go hydro, I'm going to put it in a cube. But before I put it in the cube, I don't want to just put it in there and break this off or make it stretch the taproot for the bottom. So I'm going to cut it. And I do this every time. I always cut them. I cut these cubes. Now what I do, now I'm going to be very careful. And sometimes I use tweezers. Where the fuck are my tweezers? My tweezers around here somewhere. Let's see. Because again, you got to be very careful. There they are. You got to be very careful. This root cannot break. I'm saying if it does, you're done. But I place it right here, root down. See how that root is down? And then I just fold it. And I put it back in the wrapper. And goes in pretty easy. I give it just a little squeeze. And that'll go under a light. And it just goes under a 60-watt LED. That's really all you need. And that's how I do it for my hydro system.